Hi guys, I'm gonna redo the video because, yeah, I noticed kind of messed up there. Okay, so today I'm gonna be doing the comparison between a subarctic climate and a humid subtropical climate. So a subarctic climate is a climate you usually find south of central Canada. Or no, hold up, not south of central Canada. A subarctic climate is usually a climate you find north of central Canada. And in a subtropical climate, you usually find south of central New York, technically. And yeah, these are two pretty interesting climates, I'm not gonna lie. So, a subarctic climate, let's just do the characteristics first, but we're gonna go with the coldest climate first, which is the subarctic. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So a subarctic climate is characterized with long cold winters and short cool summers. It is also known as the boreal or the subpolar climate. And it basically has like two seasons, winter and a summer. Doesn't really have a fall or spring because it's too cold. So the temperature averages during the winter are very cold. It's usually below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, with the coldest month often averaging below negative 36.4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty insane if you ask me. And they could experience winter lows as low as negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit, which is crazy. Yeah. And they have a large temperature range, apparently, between winter and summer. Yep. So, yeah, you can say that a subarctic climate only has, like, two seasons, logically. While most of a subtropical climate has four seasons, except maybe, like, the Florida areas that have a subtropical climate. Let's see the summer. So the average summer temp has to be between 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has to be very temperate and mild during the summer to qualify as an Arctic climate. If it goes above that, then it's a humid continental climate, which is a northern climate in the U.S. Or just in general. I would just say in general it's a northern climate. And if it goes below these averages, then I guess it would qualify as an Arctic climate. So the dominant season in this kind of climate zone would be the winter. It would basically be like 8 months of winter. You expect snow on the ground till May, basically. And you only get like 3 or 4 months without snow, basically, in this kind of climate. So, yeah. If you're not into that climate, then I don't recommend it. It is pretty cold, I'll admit. It is freezing cold. Now let's go to the humid subtropical climate. So, a humid subtropical climate is characterized by hot and humid summers and cool to mild winters. So, the summers are much hotter in a humid subtropical climate, and the winters are much milder in a humid subtropical climate. And it's also more popular than a subarctic climate in terms of like worldly climate zones, because there's more worldly climate zones with a subtropical climate than with a subarctic climate. Let's see what else. Let's do average summer temps for a humid subtropical climate. No, winter. Do winter first. And what else is there to say about the humid subtropical climate? So most areas within this climate have 4 seasons, which are winter, spring, summer, and fall, which means it has more distinct seasons than a subarctic climate because the weather is more unpredictable in this kind of climate. It also has a larger area of like where it runs from, as it runs from South New York to Central Florida in the US. I'm not sure about other places though. But yeah, it is a pretty popular climate in terms of like how common it is. And the average winter temperature for humid subtropical climate, so usually it's considered mild between 45 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The average daytime high is between 50 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the average night low would be around 36 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit usually in the humid subtropical zone. But honestly, I mean, I could even extend that to 27 because I would say personally, if it goes above 26 as the coldest winter month, as the average winter low, then it's a humid subtropical climate. So basically, almost all the southern U.S. fits this category, as well, it is technically a southern climate, yeah. I mean, even some of the Northeast actually has this kind of climate, the southern climate. Apparently, most of New Jersey has this climate, the humid subtropical, yeah. Also, New York City and Long Island have this kind of climate. But I would say in the West, though, it's different. It's mostly not this kind of climate. It's mostly like arid or Mediterranean climate, because it's more closer to like a desert kind of biome, I guess. Yeah. So that's the average winter temperature. So I would say it doesn't really go above 70 to 75 is the highest winter, or not, like the coldest winter high. And it doesn't go below 27 as the lowest winter low. Let me see the average summer temperature in humid subtropical. So in a humid subtropical climate, the average summer temperature is typically between 70 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit, with many days reaching temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the hottest months, which is, in this type of climate zone, it's usually around July, August usually. While in a subarctic climate, 90 degrees is really rare. But in a humid subtropical climate, it's pretty common during the summer. Yeah, even in the summer, in a subarctic climate, 90 degrees is very rare because they're used to mild temperatures during that time. And what was another thing I said? Oh yeah. Humid subtropical climates are way more unpredictable than a subarctic climate. Way more unpredictable. Because subarctic climate, you already know it's going to be cold most of the year. But with a humid subtropical climate, since it has 4 seasons most of the time, you don't know when it's going to be cold or when it's going to be hot. It's just, it fluctuates basically. So there's like seasons where it's cold, warm, hot, cool, and then cold again. Yeah, that's what you expect in a subtropical climate usually. Now, I guess those are like the main differences out of the way. Now let's do like a little difference and similarity between the two. Okay, so similarities between a humid subtropical and a subarctic climate, or subarctic humid subtropical, whatever. So similarity between the two would be they're both located within a transition zone. So a subarctic climate is a transition zone between an Arctic and a continental climate, whilst a humid subtropical climate is a transition zone between a continental climate and a tropical climate. And what's another similarity between the two? I'm trying to think. I guess they're both climates in the U.S. I guess we can count that. Yeah. But I think that's like where it ends, I guess. The only state that could be truly subarctic, I'd say, would be Alaska, because it's close to North Canada, which is also subtropic. I mean, no, not subtropic. Subarctic climate. Sorry, I keep getting them mixed up. But with subtropical climate or the subtropics, the weather's more erratic, more unpredictable. You don't know when it's going to be cold or hot, unlike with the subarctic when you know it's going to be cold most of the time. The summers in a subtropical climate are way hotter. You can see 90s a lot in this kind of climate during the summer. Subtropical climate has way more thunderstorms. And honestly, I feel like the summer in the subtropical climate matches with a lot of the U.S. Especially the eastern U.S. South of central New York, yeah. What else? Subarctic climate has way colder winters. Subarctic climate has less seasonal variation. Only has 2 seasons most of the time. I mean, there's some similarities because there's humid subtropical areas in Florida that have a wet and dry season where it rains sometimes and then sometimes it's very dry. But yeah, I guess that's the only time where you can compare the subtropical and subarctic and say they're similar, I guess. When you're comparing it between Alaska and Florida, basically. Well, North and Central Florida. Because South Florida is a tropical climate. What else? Did I say subtropical climate has way more thunderstorms? Yeah. Now, I would say though, the transition zones, which lean more to Arctic and continental, that are between the subarctic and subtropical climate, would be, I mean, central Canada could be both, leaning more to continental or subarctic, but it would be north central Canada, and then it would be just most of South New York, basically, which would lean to a continental climate. And then north central Canada would lean more to Arctic climate. Now, if you want to see which one would lean more to a continental, that's subarctic, and then a tropical, that's subtropical, it would be, let's see, South Central Canada and Central Florida. So South Central Florida would lean more to continental climate than an Arctic climate, while Central Florida would lean more to a tropical climate than a continental climate because it's way south. And it's extremely rare to snow there, usually, compared to North Florida. And definitely compared to South New York, because South New York is way more north than Central Florida. But it is extremely more likely to rain than South New York, because it has a more rainier climate than South New York. but they are within the same climate zone technically. What else? I'm trying to think. So, like I said, a subarctic climate that leans more to a Arctic climate would be north central Canada, and a subtropical climate that leans more to a continental climate would be South New York, because it's closer to central New York than it's to South Florida, obviously. Let's see. A subarctic climate that leans more to a continental climate would be South Central Canada, and a subtropical climate that leans more to a tropical climate would be Central Florida, because it's closer to South Florida than Central New York. Whilst, let's see, in a subarctic climate, South Central Canada would be closer to the continental climate of South Canada than the subarctic climate of North Canada. Whilst North Central Canada would be closer to the subarctic climate of, oh no, not the subarctic, yeah, subarctic. Oh yeah, it would be close to the Arctic climate of Alaska even. We can say that. I don't know if Alaska has an Arctic climate though. I think it does. I'm not sure. It's mostly subarctic though. But yeah, this is my little comparison video between a subarctic climate and a humid subtropical climate. Anyways, let me know if you found any other differences between the two or any similarities. Anyways, peace.